Alright, we're going to continue with our little simple 3/4 inch projects. Most of these projects you can do in a few hours or a day or whatever. In other words, it just depends on how long you can carve. Of course, everyone knows I do these smaller projects now because of my hand and the numbness that I go through. And what we're going to do is a little stylized cardinal, and he's only a little bitty thing. He's only let's see if I can get my, I don't know if I have my, love my little, yeah, I've got it in my pocket. Got it on my keychain, my little 3-foot ruler. He's only about 2 3/4 inches long by about 1 inch high, and he's 3/4 inch thick. So he's very small, and these are a lot of fun. I've made a lot of these. I've given a lot of these away. Bird lovers, things like that, people that like them. I want to show you. Here is one that I made. Put him on a little stand and everything like that. He's just a little stylized cardinal. Very simple project to do. He's a little dirty, in other words. I've used him as a carving example a lot, and so he's a little bit dirty. I need to clean him up and stuff. But I put him on a little block just like that where he stands up. And you just would not believe how many people want one of these things. And I could put wings on them stuff, but it's just a little stylized cardinal that we did. And I learned how to do this. I've made quite a few since our carving class that we had, Southeast Texas Wood Carvers. Richard Spinney taught us how to do the stylized cardinal. And I just made some little bitty ones. And so I'm doing the tiny ones now. Little small ones. His was a lot bigger. And the first thing we want to do, of course, is look at our medium. We want to draw a line, center line down our little bird here. Just sort of get an idea of how much, because what we're going to be doing is taking a lot off on both sides to equal up. As in this situation right here, you see we come up. We take a lot on each side, and of course on the beak as well, as we say. So what we want to do is that tail is going to kind of come like this, and then it's going to go down like this. You see? So let's go ahead and start kind of rounding off our tail. Oh, by the way, the grain of the wood will run this way, okay? When you cut it, you want the grain of the wood to run this way, because that's what we're going to be fooling with. No, don't cut the grain running this way. Cut it running this way, because most of all your carving is going to be done that way. All right, let's sort of just kind of take our tail and just sort of round it off just a little bit. Kind of like that, in other words. And then we're going to kind of come like this, in other words. You see? We're going to kind of run the tail up like that, as in this situation right here. You see this? We're going to sort of bring the tail in a little bit like that. So what I want to do is just kind of first and over here. All right. Get kind of a general idea of where the tail ends. Real simple project to do. Doesn't take a long time. And let's bring the tail down then, okay? Richard is a very, very good animal carver. He, especially whales and stuff like that, sea carver especially. Beautiful whales that he does and stuff. And he's very, very good. I have never been real great at animals, but I'm learning. Mine mostly has been human figures. So what we're going to do is leave that tail like that until we can kind of get an idea. You know, we're going to have to bring it down, I'm sure, a little bit. But let's get some more. All right, now what we want to do is to bring this head on both sides. We want to bring it up, okay? We want to bring it kind of a point almost, really. Take it easy, small piece. I mean, you can make one of these things in a very short period of time. Paint it. Okay, see what I did? And that's why you draw the center line, so that you can kind of come up on each side. And the beak, of course, is going to be the same way. I'm going to take our knife, one side, the other side, the other side, and the other side. Lost my... Now, if you look, the head here is very thin in here. So we want to thin this up in here. So we just gradually just kind of do this number. Okay? Not taking off too much on one side, but going from side to side slowly. Taking off. When we want that beak in there just to kind of come, okay, just like that, sort of like, okay? But we're going to thin it up even a little bit more because this is a small figure, okay? Okay? And that beak is small. Alright, now let's go ahead and start rounding off or getting the rest of our, in other words, coming in here and rounding off our bird, in other words. Okay? Just like that. That's why I said leave the tail, because we're going to kind of get the tail. Now, when you come up underneath here, you change grains. So don't force it. Don't come up underneath here and try to push it and force it. You'll break the tip off. Watch it. You're going to come up here and then it begins to change grains. So come over here. There you go. And just come down like that. See where it stops? Folks, when your knife gives, when it grabs, don't continue. See here? Now over here on this side, the grain's fine. But be careful. If you go up like this and it grabs just like that, you'll break it all the way off. Turn the other way. Let's pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of people don't ever learn not to force things. Carving is not forcing things. Just like right here, see? See it grab? See the knife grab? Turn around. There you go. Same thing here. When it grabs, you come back down the other way. That is where the grain is changing. And if you try to force things, you mess up. And in this piece, a lot of the grain changes quite often. So always remember. Okay, now what we're simply doing is rounding off this area. And come down here at the bottom, do the same thing. Begin to round off. Sort of bring it to a that's why I said wait on that tail. Now when you get to this beak, the same way. Be very, very careful when you come up on both sides. You don't want to force anything. These are small figures, and all we're doing is just rounding off. See that? He's already starting to take shape. He's starting to take form. Okay. Take small cuts. Small cuts. Do not take large cuts. Then as we begin to round it off, we begin to see that the tail is too big. It's too big. See, that's why I say just kind of before you you begin to see that the tail is way too big, so you're going to have to remove. See how I'm just going around it, just taking some wood off a little at a time, looking at it, going around, just like that. Now, as we look at the tail, of course, it's too big. So what do we have to do? We have to start bringing that tail down. And start bringing it down here. And of course in here. And what we want to do is we want to flatten that tail out, okay? That's another thing. So let's do this. Let's take our knife. Okay, just like that. Hold your finger right here so you don't put too much pressure on it. See that? And you can also come back here and just kind of do this number. Okay? And bring this in a little bit more. Just like that. Make it a little bit more flatter. I think my time is about up here. Let me look at my... not quite. It's almost time to get up. We're just gonna barely bring that down. Look at that, see? And we're going to kind of, from this end, kind of bring this same way. We'll kind of bring it up. This area where it looks like, well, the grain really changes right in there. Huh. You see that? And we're going to bring just a little, take a little bit more off this tail. So like that. May still be a little bit more that needs to be taken off. Okay, we're gonna finish this thing up and continue to round off. And when I say round, I mean, you know, shape. When I mean shape, the actual bird, the actual cardinal. Look at that. It's already, and just this little short period of time, we've already got it just about the way we want it anyway. In other words, he's a little bit fat, but we're gonna bring that down just a little bit more as we go. Okay, we'll continue the next tape.